Are you ready?
Take 3 Wrestling Podcast. We're here. It is June the 5th, 2025. The gang is almost all here as I attempt to clean my camera now because
Hey, you look clearer.
glare. All the stuff I should have done in the green room before we started the show, right?
Details.
Details, schmeetails. All right. Chock full show for you guys tonight. We will be previewing the two shows that are taking place over in Los Angeles on Saturday, Money in the Bank and Worlds Collide, exclusively on YouTube, it sounds like.
Yeah, Worlds Collide on the WWE YouTube channels. I think they are going to have the option for US or Spanish commentary that I think you'll just be able to select directly on that video. And that may be part of the reason why that they are doing it that way, so that it's an easy interchange on the commentary language. So, but yeah, on the WWE's YouTube channel. So you get it for free, folks. You get it for free. And but the big show on the Saturday nights, you do not.
No, that one you got to sign up for the cock.
Yeah, right there on the cock.
All dead set in the cock. AKA Joe.
Yes.
While we wait for Joe, because I don't want to get too far involved because of the topic that we're going to start with.
Sure.
Wrestlers of the Month was wrapped up.
There you go.
Currently, we have 61 people who have received at least the minimum point of 11 points that we have for our wrestlers of the month. The only person with 11 points is Kevin Owens. He currently sits in 61st place. Don't think he'll be adding to that point total anytime soon.
Yeah, he even came out this week. I don't know what prompted it, but I think I saw something along the lines of saying, like, look, there's no real guarantee that I'm ever going to be back. So
correct.
So that's a bummer to hear. I fucking love Kevin Owens. So you definitely, is it not I mean, this is as serious as possible. Hate to see that, because that dude should not have to go out not on his own terms.
Correct. That was primarily the reason why I mentioned Kevin here. Trick Williams, the wrestler of the month, he finished in first place on mine and Jim's ballot, which propelled him to the first place victory. Our top 10 currently in 10th place, 46 points, is the current women's champion on Raw, Io Sky. 9th place is having a unification match at Y'all In. It is Kenny Omega, the international champion. 8th is the world heavyweight champion, Jey Uso. The tie for 6th between the Hurt Syndicate of Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. Top 5 is the SmackDown Women's Champion, Tiffany Stratton. In 3rd place, there's a tie between the IC Women's Champion, Lyra Valkyria, and the last real world champion, John Cena. We have a change from last month to this month. In 2nd place is last month's number 1, Oba Femi, and our current wrestler of the year based off of points. She is timeless. She is Toni Storm.
Please refresh the page to hear the sounds.
You
bitch.
Fuck.
The bigger they are, the harder they come.
She currently has 76 points. She's 2 points ahead of Oba Femi. Right now, Lyra Valkyria, Oba Femi, and Tiffany Stratton have something in common. They're the only 3 wrestlers on our ballot or on our list that have made it in 4 out of the 5 months that we have gotten votes so far in 2025.
Okay.
So I'm keeping tabs of that this year because I think that's something when we get to the bracket for next year, knowing how many months they made the list and knowing how much stability they had, I think could help swing things, because there are opportunities where some people who have, well, they had a great December,
Right.
that sneak into the bracket could get some votes against some people who had great 4 and 5 months runs that people forget about because they happened in April and May and June.
Yeah. 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 I mean, it's a great
So,
point.
So that's Wrestlers of the Week. Fantasy wrestling wise, I haven't finished updating the scoring for this week. It's been a little cuckoo kachoo over in the homeland. That'll get wrapped up before Money in the Bank. I think it's safe to say that no one's caught me. I'm still in first. I was up 30 points.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
I don't think anything big enough happened this week, even with some things going down. I picked up Trick Williams, so I got the points for him retaining anyways. So,
Yep.
But we know where Joe wants to start, so I guess we'll start there. I know this was primarily his topic, but I think we've beaten around the bush as long as we can before he gets here.
I mean, do we want to run one of the? Do we want to run like Worlds Collide preview?
Yeah, you know what? Let's run Worlds Collide, because I don't think he'll be upset, because I don't think he'll be able to announce any of their names.
Well, that's true. That's true.
It'll save us from having to run a disclaimer of the views and opinions of Joe Lopez are those of solely Joe Lopez and do not reflect Mike, Jim, or the Take Three Wrestling podcast on the screen.
That's true. So, yeah, Worlds Collide this Saturday. I think it's 3 p.m. Eastern time, noon on the West Coast. Again, this is streaming on the WWE's YouTube channel. It is a joint show, WWE and AAA. So the first in this new business venture. So let's start.
Somebody posted a picture. They were at the Superstore. I showed you guys the one shirt that I liked from the Superstore. They actually had some AAA. There was a Psycho Clown shirt. There was What Happened in the Sporting, because your mouth is on the floor.
The Pacers are leading by 1 with 0.03 seconds on the clock.
Wow.
111 to 110. Dude, there was a point when I looked over and this in the fourth where fucking OKC was up big. Wowza. Well, that's fun. That's a whole world of fun. Anyway, the t-shirt. Were we talking about a t-shirt? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, there's a Psycho Clown t-shirt.
Oh, nice.
So they actually have some.
That's ball game. Pacers up 1. Wow.
Tyrese Halliburton did something that Reggie Miller couldn't do. That's called winning an NBA Finals game.
Wow. That's
no. So I saw a Psycho Clown. There was a couple of Worlds Collide shirts as well. I want to see if I can find it real quick. Let's see. WrestleMania. There's one of the groups that I'm in.
While you're looking for that, I will start with the first matchup. Let's start with the 6-man tag. It is Legado del Fantasma taking on El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr., Pagano, and aptly Psycho Clown.
Psycho Clown. So isn't the one member of Legado del Fantasma out with an injury?
That was in the LWO.
Okay. Sorry,
yeah.
got my Latin trios mixed up. My bad. I'm gonna go.
Joe is here, by the way, now.
And now he's gone.
Never mind. Joe is not here anymore.
Bye, Joe. I am going to go Psycho Clown.
Yeah, this one's interesting because it's the WWE really, I think, has been trying to push some of these factions, and Legado del Fantasma has been at the forefront, but I feel like as of late there's been kind of some fraying of the edges. So I think for this one I will go Dr. Wagner Jr., Pagano, and Psycho Clown. Joe, we're just running through the Worlds Collide since we were waiting a little bit. So we are just at the first match. It's Legado del Fantasma taking on El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr., Pagano, and Psycho Clown.
Okay. Well, that's a whole lot of other people, huh?
It is.
Called this.
Give me the team with Vicano Jr. on it.
Dr. Wagner Jr. Gotcha. The Team Psycho Clown is, I think, Mike. Oh, I love
There
that.
we go.
That's a great shirt. And here's the I'm not probably going to be able to watch this one live at 3 p.m. on Saturday, but I am going to try to catch some of this because bye Joe.
Jesus.
There's not a lot of I've never watched like a AAA show, so this is going to be a learning experience for me.
Would you wear a Rey Mysterio LA Dodgers mask?
I wouldn't, but there's probably going to be a lot of people out there that will. That's for sure. Hi Joe again, I think maybe. Next match, Fatal 4-Way for the NXT North American title. Ethan Page defending against Javon Evans, Laredo Kid, and Ray Phoenix.
Ethan Page?
Yeah, I don't like. It doesn't make sense for Phoenix to win. Oh, I like that. The Money in the Bank.
Diero and El Blanco. El Banco.
I love that. Like, part of me wants to say Ray Phoenix, but why would he win an NXT title when he's on the main roster? So yeah, I think Page retains. Joe?
I will agree for the same reasons you just said about the people.
I think Joe would rock that shirt.
I like that.
Oh, I could sort of see it. It's blue.
It's blue. It's the LA Dodger blue and the ladder the same way that of the back of that other shirt that I sent.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. That is cool.
Yeah, I like that. All right. Tag team match. Stephanie Vicaire and Lola Vice taking on Chick Tormenta and Delise.
So I have one AAA win. I have one WWE win. I'm going to double down on the WWE win here because I think there's a realistic chance that we will rename June 7th by the end of Money in the Bank Stephanie Vicaire Day in WWE. It starts with the first one. I will say this much: if she loses this match, put your mortgage on her to walk out of the Intuit Dome with the briefcase.
All right, very good, Joe.
I mean, how do you choose against the team that's got the bunny from Space Jam in it?
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, Joe. Yeah, I think this is a AAA win. Chick Tormenta and Delise. Lola Vice is eating this pin. There's no way that Stephanie Vicaire is going to take a fall in this one. Then we go to another 6-man tag. It's the LWO, Dragon Lee and Cruz del Toro. Lince Dorado is the third man on this team due to injury. And then taking on Octagon Jr., Aerostar, and Mr. Iguana.
Let's go, Mr. Iguana. Let's go.
Mike.
I don't think that there's a way the AAA wins more than 3 matches on this show, especially because of what I think is going to happen in the main event. I will take the LWO if Lince Dorado shows up.
Okay. Yeah, so I have the WWE team winning in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, I have AAA team winning in this one. So I have the LWO. I'll have the LWO. I think out of the 6-man tags, it'll be a split.
Correct.
So if I got the first one wrong, I'll also get this one wrong.
I'm in the same boat.
Basically. And then main event for this one, singles match for the AAA Mega Championship, El Hijo del Vikingo defending against Chad Gable.
I just have a question. Do you believe that El Grande Americano has been working with Chad Gable this week to potentially find a flaw or a hole in a luchador's ability? Because we know that Chad had his issues with luchadors. This compadre of his, El Grande Americano, been fighting the good fight, been trying to help Chad Gable. Hell, Chad even let him borrow his boots on Raw, if you guys hadn't seen that.
It's true. I saw that.
That's
Great
pretty
human
fucking
being.
intimate.
Yeah,
Great
man.
fucking person, Chad Gable. Who lets a guy borrow his shoes?
Right?
I
That
don't
was
even let
wrestling.
other men look at my shoes.
No, I don't. Nobody's borrowing my shoes.
Jim hates feet.
Yeah, feet are gross, man. Feet are gross.
So, that being said, I don't know that I'll actually be able to crack the El Hijo del Vikingo code with the help from El Grande Americano. Therefore, I will take the AAA champion to retain.
All right, Joe.
Yeah, I gotta say, if El Grande Americano was the one getting the title shot, I think we'd be having a different story here. But he can only do so much to coach his buddy Chad. Chad's great, but I don't think he's gonna get there in this one. So unfortunately, I gotta go with the AAA champion.
You got to remember, El Grande Americano has a grande size match of his own later that night in the Money in the Bank briefcase. So he may not have been able to help Chad too much. So,
yeah, Vikingo is definitely going to retain. There's no way. There's just no way. I'm not even going to try to like jazz it up. Vikingo definitely retains here, but again, I think it's going to be a fun show. It's like I said, it's going to be kind of a learning experience for me in a way. I've never watched a AAA show, so and I know this is going to be kind of, a watered down version of one, so to speak, but I think it's going to be kind of an introduction as we've seen over the years with when WWE's done shows in the UK or in Japan or whatever, they will incorporate some aspects of that. This I think will be a little bit more, but it's introducing a wrestling audience that has never seen certain product to them. So but yeah, that's World Collide again, 3:00 YouTube on Saturday. So I guess we now get to the unfortunate news of the week.
The biggest topic.
Yeah.
In my mind.
Yeah, for sure. I have the tweet. Let me see if I can pull that. I have a graphic up with it. Sunday, R-Truth, Ron Killings tweeted, "I'm sorry to inform you all, I just got released from WWE. I want to thank WWE for the ride, but mostly I want to thank each and every one of you who was along for the ride. Thank you all for the love, support, and appreciation you've given me over the years. Thank you," he said. So that's how he announced it. We did come to learn that it's not so much like a release as as we've seen many times over the years with the superstar being fired or released from their contract early. This is a contract not being renewed as it expires. Carlito and Valhalla also suffered the same fate. But I'll leave it to you guys. This is the one that hits the most, I think, for all of us.
I'll let Joe start this because I have a take, and there's going to be people that aren't going to be happy with my take. But I'll let Joe.
Okay.
So to me, I feel like there's two different sides to everything coming out of this, and by that I mean there's the R-Truth of it all. There's the talking about all the great memories from him, talking about all the great entertaining moments that he's had. Like, he has definitely been a highlight of the WWE for a long time now, like as long as most of us can remember. For some people, as long as they've been viewers. So, there's that aspect of it that I think, we could touch on and give R-Truth all of the flowers that he deserves. I think the other maybe more interesting part of this story is the sheer amount of backlash that WWE and TKO has been receiving from fans regarding this particular release. Because it almost feels like all of the goodwill that WWE has had in the last couple of years since Vince has been gone and with Triple H and his storytelling and yada, 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 it's just gone. Like, all of that goodwill just feels like it went out the door when Ron Killings went out the door. And like, that was like, he was like the final straw. Like, he wasn't the only straw. There were other straws, but he was the like, y'all weren't supposed to do this. Like, y'all weren't supposed to. And here's the thing, right? From a business perspective, of course, one day he wasn't going to work for the company. Of course, one day it wasn't going to be worth it. It wasn't going to make sense. He wasn't going to be able to wrestle anymore, whatever the case may be. And I'm not saying that he was even close to that yet or anything, but I can sort of see where from the business side, if you're looking at it and you're like, okay, we got to save money. We got to cut contracts. There's this guy, he's got a huge contract, but, you're not putting him in world title matches on every 3-month basis, let alone, even once a year. Like, the last time he got a title match prior to this one was probably eons ago, So at the end of the day, like, if you're going to make a cut and you're going to try to save a lot of money, and it's one of these people who has a high salary based on tenure more than actual place on the card, it makes sense. It doesn't make it not sad. And I think that's the emotion that it's giving a lot of people. I think there's a lot of people, and this could be a little bit too reading into it. I think there's a lot of fans that look at R-Truth as one of the more fun elements of WWE. And I feel like a lot of fans think that a lot of the fun is being sucked out of the room, that all the advertisements on the mats is not fun, that, 5-match pay-per-views are not fun, that now R-Truth and one of the funniest people literally on the entire show is gone. That's not fun. So I think, unfortunately, I think WWE is helping to make its own case for the fans who are looking at them and saying, oh, you guys are kind of becoming soulless. And then something like this happens where, like, I don't know, like, look, Vince McMahon's a piece of shit in every sense of the word, but he might have let R-Truth stay stay on the bench for a while getting paid. He might have let this man be around for 10 years getting the salary he was getting, even if they only dusted him off once every 3 months in a segment. Like, that might have been the kind of business that Vince did. That's not the kind of business that a big conglomerate like TKO is going to do. And that's just the reality of that, unfortunately. But it's definitely sad. Like, there's no doubt that it's sad and disappointing. And the guy, all of the flowers. The guy deserves all of the flowers.
Yeah, I think the tweet that I sent out on Sunday at 3 Count Thursday on Twitter, always the number 3, never the word, was something along the lines of, like, if there ever felt like there would be a WWE lifer, like, R-Truth felt like one. And like, it sucks. And like, here's the deal: whenever there's contracts not being renewed, whenever there's releases, I have always been, and I guess it's just the way that my brain is wired. I'm able to see and sparse out the logic behind it. And the fact that, like, this is something that happens unfortunately, in businesses every day. This is something that happens in sports regularly. Mike, you and I, being as deep into the sports business as we are, and I know, like, Joe, you're football and hockeying, and I love to see new hockey fans getting into the sport.
Go Panthers.
Boo, except for that. But this happens all the time. There's tryout contracts. There's people that if they just start performing poorly, they will be put on waivers. And if they clear waivers, they go to the minor leagues. Boy, what does that sound like? And then sometimes if they're bad enough, they will come to terms of dissolving that contract. So in a sports world, like this is something that happens. So like I get it. I get why TKO, and again, this is a as we've learned over the course of this week, I believe, this is a Nick Khan decision. So I guess WWE/TKO, because Nick Khan is the numbers guy on the WWE end, right? So this is a TKO decision of like, contracts coming up. Let's offer him what we think he's worth now. And they didn't come to an agreement. So, okay, cool. John Cena despite being a heel on screen, apparently eternal good guy John Cena says, well, give me a program on because John Cena's going to do everything he wants to do on this retirement tour. Whatever he wants, they're going to let him do. So he's like, hey, I want to have a match with R-Truth Saturday night's main event. I guess in John Cena's mind, per the reports, if this gains enough interest for R-Truth again, not that there was like feigning interest, but TKO might see the value. TKO didn't balk. So it's business. It stinks. It's a bummer. Me personally, I hate that, at least for the foreseeable future, I will no longer have R-Truth on my WWE TV screen. We can talk a little bit more about what we think is the future for him, is the future for WWE/TKO, but that's where I'll leave my thoughts on the actual release. That, like, I get it, but this one sucks probably more than a lot of them have. I think this has probably been the most this sucks I've felt with a release since Bray Wyatt.
I do. So I want to hear Mike's thoughts, but then I do have a question for you guys related to all this that just come to my mind while you were talking, Jim.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's why I didn't want to like go further into the beyond.
I just want to like bookmark. Come back to me. I do have a question that I want to ask both of you guys that relates to this whole thing.
Yeah, but Mike, your thoughts on the TKO decision to not renew the contract of R-Truth, or the contract not being extended, I should say, because
it was 100% the right move.
Oh, okay.
I love Truth to death. When was the last time that R-Truth was genuinely valuable? His tag title run with the Awesome Truth. Before that, the 24/7 title that everybody thought was a 3-ring circus, as it was.
So that was the pandemic.
The guy wrestled 1,400 matches plus, and when you include house shows and dark matches and things along those lines. I'm looking at. I have his cage match up right now, and the 24/7 title and all of that. Go back and look at. So he got hurt in NXT in 2022 against Grayson Waller. Missed all of 2023. He wrestled 5 matches in 2023.
If I remember correctly, sorry to interrupt. That was that a NXT title match or a number 1 contenders match or something?
It doesn't say on here. It just says that he lost via ref decision. That's when he blew his knee out.
Yeah.
He missed all of 2023, came back and had a Miracle on 34th Street street fight with JD McDonough, and then wrestled Omos on the Christmas loop.
Okay.
2024 had the fun stuff with the Judgment Day at the beginning. Him and the Miz beat Indus Shear in a number 1 contender qualifying match. Won the titles at WrestleMania. Lost them later in the year of the Judgment Day. After that, R-Truth has been comic. It hasn't been an in-ring guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's been, haha. Well, guess what? If you're paying a lot of money with a big downside guarantee where, hey, travel, come to work. We're going to give you a ton of money at 53 years old. Guess what? Put that coat of paint on a guy like Grayson Waller and give him a microphone and let him be the goofy guy. Put the coat of paint on a couple of guys that you have sitting down in NXT, Andre Chase and Chase University. There are plenty of people who could use the R-Truth time that he was given to make jokes about the Judgment Day. Okay? Have whoever's feuding with Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental title use those same jokes that you wrote for R-Truth.
Okay.
The reality of the situation is this. You reached your apex with Ron the Truth Killings, R-Truth, during the pandemic when you were selling replicas of the 24/7 title for $400 of the dumbest title belt that you ever fucking invented. You reached apex. Okay, well, that's the phone one. I'm saying they were selling the real ones of those, and people were buying them hand over fist.
Of how silly the title looks.
But that's what I'm getting at. Your apex was that. Guess who wasn't around during the apex of Ron R-Truth Killings? TKO.
Yep.
Nick Khan showed up in August of 2020. I looked it up. That's when he took on the COO role of WWE with the Vince McMahon bullshit. Okay? When did the 24/7 title go away? 2022?
So yeah, something like that.
So under 2 years later, that title was gone.
Gone. Yeah.
TKO, for all we know, may have done him a favor and left him on the damn roster for the last 2 years. I'm looking at you, JTG. The reality of the situation is this. Do I want anyone to lose their job? No. I never do. Even guys like Braun Strowman.
Right.
Even guys who make questionable decisions outside of the wrestling world. I don't want to see anybody jobless. But you're paying a 53-year-old guy on the backside of his career more money and keeping yourself from potentially getting people on your roster that you could use that money to get to go there. This is a business decision. Anyone that wants to look at it as negativity, or it's because he's not white, or it's because Triple H is racist, fuck all the way off. This is a business decision. This is the numbers don't work anymore. R-Truth is bringing in how much money? We're paying him how much money? You've squeezed all the juice out of the R-Truth Express.
Yeah.
I love Truth to death. I'm going to be upset that he's not going to be on Raw. I'm going to be upset that he ain't joking around with the Judgment Day and walking up to John Cena. But guess what? Where's the outrage for Carlito? The comedic gold of the Judgment Day. Literally, the last year and a half, all I've heard is, oh, look, they're playing PS5 and they're eating chicken nuggets and all this. Guess what? There was no PS5 on the TV this week because Carlito took it and left because it was his PS5.
Yeah.
Where's the outrage? He was an integral part of a big piece of what you're doing on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah. I mean, I think even my response when we were talking about it in our text group was like, and I'm thinking from a match perspective, because like, even though he's always had a comedic side, I still think Carlito's a really good, really strong in-ring performer. And I barely remember him wrestling since his return.
Yeah, I think he's wrestled like twice.
I'll take the slight overrun.
So here's a few things that I've been thinking while you guys were talking. I didn't take notes, but like I mentally took notes. So one, how much do you think Triple H regrets that feud with Booker T back in 2005? Because he's never gonna shake the Triple H's racist like narrative that started back then with a storyline that he had nothing to do with.
Zero.
Like that's just always gonna be a thing.
Zero.
Yeah.
Triple H could not, and again, going to use some paraphrasing here, could give less than one fuck about something that happened back in the 2000s. The guy's married, kids, almost died, took over a company. Genuinely don't think he cares.
Fair enough. So
By the way, complete sidebar. I just threw on SummerSlam 2021 and seeing Randy Orton pre-injury, dude looks thin as fuck.
Yeah.
Like
chicken and rice, chicken and rice.
Dude, that man has chicken and riced out in the last 4 years. Just saying.
So the question I was going to ask you guys, though, the main question, I mean, and this is my opinion, and this is what it comes down to, right? TKO was going to save that money somewhere. Would you rather they fire one person who's making that amount, or they fire 2 or 3 people to get to that amount? That they fire Cora Jade and, you know, some of these younger talents that haven't even had a chance to really become something yet in WWE. Like, I think it's more sad when those are the people that are getting fired than I do for someone like R-Truth. And especially because, and again, I love Truth also. I am sad that he got fired. I'm sad, like you said, as a fan, I'm sad to not see him on a weekly basis anymore. He's going to be okay. He's gonna get hired by TNA. He's gonna get hired by AEW. He's gonna someone is going to pick this man up. He's not going to be okay. I mean, let's also be honest. This man has had a steady job for the last 25 years, 19 years, something crazy like that. He doesn't seem like the kind of person from interviews and stuff that has been irresponsible with his money. So he might be the kind of situation where if he doesn't want to work for the next 5 years, he could probably get away with that depending on his lifestyle. You know, he's going to be okay. Is the part of it that, like I said, unfortunately, the truth is, if you have to make Sophie's choice, you have to choose one or the other. I'd rather see one R-Truth get fired than 3 NXT talents who haven't even had the chance yet.
Well, and for me, I think the critical detail is I would rather see one R-Truth contract not get renewed than 3 NXT talents get fired. Because now, if you're talking about non-contract renewals, I'm fine with 3 NXT talents not getting their contracts renewed, because to me that is a minor league baseball player or an AHL hockey player that the parent club, the WWE, determines this isn't going to work for us right now. We've tried you in developmental for 2 years and you're not going to make it to the big club right now. Go work on your craft, come back, we'll look at you again later. So I would rather keep R-Truth and have 3 NXT talent contracts not renewed. But if we're talking what happened here, they can't come to terms on an agreement versus 3 NXT. Truth, see you later. We're going to keep these 3 talents that we have under contract. We're not going to fire them. And, test the waters. You've worked in TNA before. You've never worked in AEW before. Maybe you don't want to work. I watched that WWE 24 on R-Truth, which, by the way, if you've never watched that, do it. It's on the Vault on their YouTube page, the YouTube WWE Vault, or on Peacock. And he looks like he lives in a modest home with his family. Like, dude, look, I'm sure financially he is more than fine. Yeah, I'm not worried about Ron Killings being okay. Ron Killings is going to be fine, whether it's TNA, the independent convention circuit, AEW, whatever, plus his music career and stuff. Ron Killings will be just fine. That is no concern on my part. So yeah, it's for me. If yeah, I would not fire 3 potential, next 3 to 5 to 7 year superstars to keep R-Truth at $3 million or whatever he was making a year.
Yeah, that's why I genuinely said that I think they got it right. This is just one of those things where you walk in, and I'm going to use the baseball terminology here, you're Clayton Kershaw. You've been a Los Angeles Dodger your entire life. You want to finish your career in Dodger blue, but you're having as bad of a year as he's having right now. And you're going to go sit down at the meeting table and you're going to ask for a raise. And the Dodgers are going to look at you and they're going to tell you that they're already over budget. They're already paying a luxury tax. They're already paying too much money. You want to stay a Dodger, you're going to take a pay cut. And when Kershaw tells them no, you know what they're going to do? They're going to stand up from the table. They're going to say, thank you for your service. We appreciate you. When you're ready to retire, let us know. We'll sign you for a day. You can have the press conference. We'll retire your number. We'll do all the things that you're supposed to do on the way out. We love you, but this just doesn't work for us. That's where it's at. It is one of those things. I guarantee you that phone call, whoever had to make that phone call to Truth or have that conversation with Truth in person, that'll end up being the hardest phone call they make when releasing somebody or telling someone their contract's not going to be renewed. Because that guy's been there, and I looked it up just now, since March 25th of 2008.
Wow. Yeah.
If there's a guy that you're going to have to make that phone call to, that it's going to hurt more than anybody else.
Jesus, I'm 23.
I don't know who that is.
I'll be 40 next month.
Because I mean, let's also be very transparent. He is, again, I hate to say it like this, he is the last of the Mohicans when it comes to the comedic wrestler. There are comedic wrestlers, but when you look at the people that are around his age, Orton, Cena, Styles, guys like, I'll use the 3 of them. John's retiring. Randy knows that he's on the back end, and AJ said he's done by the time he's 50.
He just turned 48 yesterday.
There's a window. So there's a window. Their contracts come up. John isn't re-signing, obviously. He's leaving.
Mm-hmm.
AJ probably just signed his last contract, so you're probably not releasing AJ. You're probably going to let him ride off into the sunset the way he wants.
Yeah.
And Randy Orton does something that not a lot of people still do at the age of 46, and that's bring in a shit ton of money.
Yeah, very much so.
So when you look at the narrative of the 3, and I get it, there are probably guys that are closer to Truth in age than the 3 of them, but I'm going to use the 3 of them as my example. Okay.
Sure.
And I'll use the Bengal, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and then there's a tight end that you're thinking about, Mike Gesicki, and that's who the Bengals have right now. You're like, I got to pay Joe Burrow, aka John Cena. I definitely got to pay Jamar Chase, aka Randy Orton. I definitely got to pay T. Higgins, AJ Styles. Mike, you had a great season with us last year. We want you to stay. We ain't gonna be able to offer you market value for you. We just can't. We've put all this money into the basket of the 3 of them. You want to stay? We take a pay cut to stay with us. to try to do this, to try to win a Super Bowl, yeah, I'll stay. It just sounds like Truth was like, I know my value. And Truth
So-
knows that he may have a lot of money put away. He may
So
not
here-
need to do any of this.
Here's my question now. From the other side, like from moving away from Truth, how long before you think the fan backlash that's kind of happening with this goes away?
That
Like are we getting "We Want Truth" chants in a year, or is that something that 3 weeks from now WWE does something and we all forget that this even was a thing?
Brutally honest,
Yeah.
you won't hear a "We Want Truth" chant by Survivor Series. The only reason why I don't say it's before that is because guess where SummerSlam is? New York. What do New York fans love to do more than anything else in the world? Take shows hostage. There will be fans that'll start a "We Want Truth" chant just so they can say that they did it. If this was anyone other than Truth, if this was, you know what, better yet, here you go. If this was Karrion Kross, a guy coming out of WrestleMania weekend who put himself right in the thick of needing TV time with that promo that he cut. If Karrion Kross got cut the same way that R-Truth did, there'd be a "We Want Kross" chant on Monday Night Raw. There'd be a smattering of them this weekend at Money in the Bank, and then no one would say his name again.
Yeah.
I genuinely think there will be "We Want Truth" chants in LA. I think there will be some at Monday Night Raw. And if SummerSlam, I think, was anywhere else besides New York, I think it'd be over with.
Well, and here's the thing too. I think there's two different things. I think that the R-Truth chants will go silent fairly quickly, right? Like, because it wasn't a CM Punk situation
Where he just fell off the face of the earth.
where he left and then like it was very clear that like the reason he left was because he was unhappy and all of that. So it was like an us versus them. And I get like to a degree, like it's like what the fans want Truth, but the company doesn't. It's not the same. So like I think the Truth chants will go silent. But like to Joe, to your point, like you said, like this kind of seemed to be the last straw. Like it was the way WrestleMania was booked. And then it was the decision to move WrestleMania from New Orleans back to Vegas because it's just a money thing for TKO. And it's, you know, it's then you had the other releases and you know, you've just kind of had in the last with SummerSlam or WrestleMania was in the middle of April. So in the last like 6 weeks, like the WWE's just kind of had a series of rolling oofs, right? And so
For
this
sure.
like this really like it's wild. A year ago we were at WrestleMania in Philly. Cody wins the title. It was like a perfect WrestleMania weekend. It felt like WWE's on top of the world. Cody's doing his title run. Man, like everything's cooking. And then, you know, even like the build to this year's WrestleMania is pretty good. And we're at Cena's retirement tour and this and that. And then somewhere along the heel turn, okay, cool. Well, like The Rock's involved and like Cena and The Rock, and we're starting a fantasy book. And then like WrestleMania kind of fell flat. And even though we can explain the why behind it, like WrestleMania night 1 was a one great match show, really. And then like WrestleMania night 2 was awesome. Man, it feels like WrestleMania. And the ending, right, wrong, or indifferent, we've had that discussion, deflated the room. And since then, it's just been a series of kind of rolling, what the hell are we doing here?
What I will say about that statement perfect analogy for this? The Oakland Athletics. The final month of the season, when they played in the Coliseum, please don't go. Please don't go. We love you. Fans showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Fans filled that stadium. Breathed Oakland A's baseball. Where the fuck were they for the last 5 years? When you couldn't get a fan in that stadium, when they were giving tickets away. Because it wasn't the cool thing to do. So guess what? Now they're playing in Sacramento. Now they're playing in a minor league ballpark. Before they leave the state completely to go play in Las Vegas, you want to know why? Because they made a business decision.
Yeah. So, I think like the Truth Chants are going to go silent by the end of June.
I genuinely, I would agree with you, but I do think there will be a smattering of them at SummerSlam because people are going to want to do the cool thing and start a chant just so they can be like, listen to us.
Maybe, but I guess my bigger point beyond that is that the Truth Chants will fall silent.
But what about the goodwill
That's
WWE doesn't have right now?
That's the bigger key. How many more oopses? And here's the thing, like I'm saying this just based on like the internet chatter, right? Like that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about the masses and the perception of like the WWE's cooling off, and is AEW going to be able to capitalize? Like that's kind of the buzz right now. Is like is a, you know, and credit to Tony Khan. I don't give him a lot of credit a lot of times. But like somebody like 2 or 3 days ago, there was like a question that came up about like, you know, how do we welcome WWE, disenfranchised WWE fans who are not happy right now? How do we like welcome them into AEW? And somebody was like, we don't. This is our thing. They made their choice, whatever. And Tony Khan like responded to this fan and was like, do not gatekeep anything. He's like, if people want to come and watch AEW, welcome them, embrace them. Like we're here for everybody. That's a brilliant thing to tweet by Tony Khan this week. Because if you're sensing there's any sort of like blood in the water, disenfranchised, whatever, grab it and run, man. Do whatever you can to pull people in. Now, I don't think back-to-back 4-hour TV weeks of 4 hours on TV is the best way to do it, but that's an issue we'll talk maybe about next week. But I think WWE, I think there's kind of and I say this a little tongue-in-cheekish, but almost at like a critical moment here, because there is a degree of like an unsettled, like that, you know, and like that first sign that you might be getting sick to your stomach. We've all been there. That first moment when you're like, fuck, did I eat something bad today? And then you just start to like question it. And then sometimes it passes and you're good. Other times it keeps building. You're like, uh-oh, I'm going to get sick in like an hour. And you start to play that game of like, do I just make myself throw up, or do I wait till it gets me?
It's the first red flag.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of where the WWE is at right now. Because like, look, they were on a heater for a couple of years, like in like the post Vince shine at Triple H can't do anything wrong, whatever. There is a little bit of shades of it here or there, like, wow, maybe this guy likes 8+ month feuds way too much, or like maybe this guy likes factions maybe a little too much, or whatever. You'd start to sprinkle some of these things in, but like not a big deal. 6 weeks of cloudy skies you can recover from. You can start recovering from it in 2 days when you have money in the bank, right? Like you have an opportunity already to to flip the script a little bit. And then you have like 14 more pay-per-views between now and SummerSlam that you have more than enough opportunities. And then you have a 2-night SummerSlam in New York, in your backyard. Like, you have an opportunity to make people forget about 6 weeks of cloudy skies. Like, I don't think the world's, I don't, I,
Well, so
I'm not
so here's the
concerned.
question. Here's the question, right? Let's say this coming weekend, and I know we haven't done Money in the Bank predictions yet. I might not be here for that.
Yeah, it's fine. You gotta go. You gotta go.
That's fine. But let's say the I don't know who the favorite is to win. The one that would be the most shocking. Say Seth Rollins. We'll say Seth Rollins wins Money in the Bank. Okay, that's the headline coming out of the show. And then on Sunday morning, boom, we all find out Miz's contract isn't being renewed. What's the bigger story to come out of the weekend at that point?
Miz.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
But hold on. Why is that a problem? Why is TKO making a business decision a problem?
Oh, I say it's a problem in the sense of it leaves a negative taste in the fans' mouths at the end of the day.
Because people like The Miz, and people are getting their feelings hurt that their favorites aren't going to be there anymore. Well, guess what? You don't sign their paychecks. I'm pissed off at the fact that the Cincinnati Bengals had to let Carson Palmer leave all those years ago. I didn't sign his fucking contracts. I still rooted for the team. There will always be fans that watch WWE, no matter if The Miz is there, no matter if Triple H is in charge, no matter if Omos is in fucking catering.
True.
The reality of the situation is this. The WWE was hot as the Mojave Desert for the last 4 years. And we're sitting here asking if the sky is falling because for 6 weeks, it's been not so great. Cloudy with a chance of rain. Do we forget the Bloodline storyline that was the greatest singular piece of wrestling that ended, less than 365 days ago? So what? We have a little bit of a rocky road right now. It happens.
Great ice cream flavor.
I do like Rocky Road.
It happens. It's happened in AEW before. It happened in ECW. It destroyed WCW.
Mm-hmm.
The fact of the matter is this. If you're sitting here and the Miz's contract, and we'll use the Miz because that's who Joe used. If you as a fan are upset if on Sunday morning Mike the Miz Mizanin puts out a post that says, I am a free agent on this day because my contract is not going to be renewed. And that means that you're now upset that Seth Rollins, or you don't even remember that Seth Rollins walked out with the briefcase. Because you're now so anti-WWE because they let the Miz go. That's a you problem. Because you're going to be upset, but guess what? In 24 hours, they're going to put a show on for the other 5.4 million people that are going to watch it. Sorry that you're upset. Sorry that you don't feel like your voice is being heard. It's business. I don't think anybody that sits there goes, I want to see Karrion Kross get fired. I want to see Braun Strowman get let go. I want to see The Miz not have his contract renewed. But unfortunately, this is the professional wrestling and the sports industry in a nutshell. If The Miz comes out, will I be upset that The Miz isn't going to be employed by WWE anymore? Absolutely. Seth Rollins and whoever wins the women's, that's still the bigger story because that's what's going to be on my TV Monday, and that's what's going to be on my TV on Friday. And that's what's going to get me to SummerSlam. The speed bump that they're going over right now, because Ron Killings is no longer going to be under contract and Carlito's not going to be under contract and Sarah Logan retired. It's speed bump. It's the 6 weeks of, oh my God, it might rain. Welcome to Florida. It's bipolar.
Yeah, it rained for the whole month of May here. So
it's 90 and sunny at 1:00 in the afternoon. It downpours at 3:30. Guess what? It's 94 with 1,000% humidity at 5:00. That's TKO. That's WWE for you right now. They're gonna run with it. It's a business. I'm sorry that people are upset that their favorite wrestlers are being released. I don't want to see anybody get released. I don't want to see anybody lose their livelihood. It's happened to me recently. I don't want to see other people trying to go fight for jobs and potentially taking spots on indie shows from other independent wrestlers. Because there is a trickle-down effect. R-Truth gets signed by TNA. Does that mean that that's the reason why Ace Austin's contract didn't get renewed? And now Ace Austin's going to have to go work in Wrestle Revolver and all these other smaller independent promotions to pay his bills? There's always the trickle-down effect here. I always want to see people succeed. Being upset is okay, but acting like we're done with WWE because a guy gets released and it overshadows arguably their 5th most important pay-per-view, I don't think it happens. And if you're the fan that it happens to, I'm sorry, but in 24 hours, we're moving forward.
Well, yeah, it's certainly not going to stop the machine. Like the machine didn't stop when people, when numbers were down, when WWE Battleground or whatever the fuck it was, or Proving Ground, or whatever that pay-per-view was, when there were 600 people in the crowd in like Columbus, Ohio. Like the machine still continues, and it will continue whether or not if the Miz is gone, and which, by the way, I don't think there's anything actually to the Miz and Gunther social media stuff. Like, if anything, like, he's doing it to I don't know why Gunther did. I think Gunther actually had done it before the Truth News went public. So, like, I don't think that has anything to do with it.
I also don't think that big Austrian fuck is on social media all that much.
That's true as well. But the Miz thing, I think he probably did it as a like silent show of support for Truth. So, like, I don't think there's any actual smoke. But in the scenario Joe brought up, like, okay, if he's gone, yeah, there might be some people that just say, I'm not going to watch WWE I'm done with WWE. They'll be back at SummerSlam or something. It doesn't matter. The machine's going to continue. Like, it will. It continued through the early 90s when the product was bad. It continued through the mid 90s until they got hot with the Attitude Era. It continued through the 2016 through 2019 before the pandemic. It continued through the pandemic. And then it got hot again. The wrestling business is it goes in waves.
So I'm going to sign off in a second, but the one thing I'm going to leave you guys with, and it's not necessarily a conversation to have right now, especially since I'm leaving, but maybe my topic next week, depending on how Money in the Bank goes and what the pulse is. And I read Reddit every day because I'm a nerd. And listen to podcasts, listen to Busted Open all the time. I could tell you what Dave LaGreca thinks of all this stuff. But
I'm sure it's loud in a New York accent.
100%. But depending on how things go, I think an interesting part of the conversation to maybe have here, and I think you hinted at it, Jim, a little bit. What could AEW be doing to capitalize on the negative feelings WWE is getting right now? And I do think they're doing some things. I do think that AEW, from what I've heard, I haven't got a chance to watch a lot of it, but even just hearing some of the storylines that are going on and some of the stuff that's happening, looking at the card for All In Texas, there's some good stuff happening there. And there's some potential. Dare I say, if they just got the title off of Moxley and just retooled that whole thing, got rid of the Death Riders, gave those guys something else to do, and had a different champion that wasn't Darby Allin, they may be in a position where they'd be able to really capitalize on getting some of those lapsed fans, because they're out there. Because at one point AEW was getting 1 million viewers, and now they're getting like 500,000. So there's lapsed AEW fans out there.
Yeah, and AEW feels like it's about to start rising.
Yep.
You know, and that's the beauty of having two major companies, is when one feels like it's on maybe a little bit of a downturn, that's a great time for the other one to capitalize. And here's the deal, like, and if you have to bounce, Joe, you have to bounce. But I don't know if the original plan was for Hangman Page to win the title from Mox at All In Texas. But what I do know is it should absolutely 100% be the decision that happens at All In Texas based on the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
If you're trying to steal the WWE fans that are disgruntled, you know what happens? Jon Moxley walks out of All In with the title. He's the most known commodity to a non-AEW WWE fan.
But here's why I will disagree. Because if a lapsed WWE fan is getting together with friends and buying that show, I think a show ending with a dud ending says to a WWE fan, oh, well, it just stinks over here too, so I'll just go with what I know.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I'm saying if your goal is to use All In to be the thing to wrangle up, and I'm going to use the Texas terminology here, to wrangle up disgruntled WWE fans, Jon Moxley with his own version of the Shield walking out with the world title is the most WWE thing that you could do. I don't agree with it. I still think Adam Hangman Page should walk out with the title. That's my own personal thing. Yeah, I will die on that hill until the fucking cows come home.
And I'm with you. But here's my thing is, I don't think that because Jon Moxley and Dean Ambrose are not the same. And that's where Joe had to go. But I don't think Jon Moxley and Dean Ambrose are the same. So, like, I feel like that lapsed WWE fan who's like, man, these shows have been kind of a bummer, and like every time Cena wins a main event, it just feels like a bummer. I'm over here and watch this, and it's like, oh, that guy, I remember Ambrose and the Shield. And also, let's be fair, like there's probably some of these lapsed WWE fans that don't remember the Shield because attention spans are the size of a gnat. And Moxley's been in AEW for 5 years. 5 years is a long time. So, like, if I'm AEW, I think the bet for me, and this is just me, if I have the pencil, I'm going, if these people are going to tune into my show because everything over there, if that fan feels like what's happening over there is a downer, I need to have a cowboy winning a title in Texas and everybody's cheering for him. And you give him that feel-good ending. Like, they don't need to know who the whole backstory on Hangman Page is. All they need to know is there's a cowboy in Texas trying to save the company from this bad dude, and pay your video team extra to make that the story. Like, there's this ugliness that they want to take over and change everything and make everything shitty here. You don't want things to be shitty here. You want to enjoy wrestling and have it be fun. Let this cowboy shit make wrestling fun, and you get a happy ending. That's what these anybody who's looking for a new place, it's not for us. We're going to watch All In. We're going to watch All Out. We're going to watch Full Gear. This isn't the AEW doesn't need to send a message to us. They need to send a message to the fan that is Like, man, WWE is sad to me right now. I don't want to go to another place that's sad. If I'm sad at home and I go somewhere else that's sad, I'm just going to go home and be sad. Right? Because, like, I'm already sad. At least let me be sad in the place that I recognize. But if I'm sad at home and I can go somewhere else and be happy, I want to go to that place that makes me feel happy. And I think that's what the messaging of a Hangman Page win would do.
I don't disagree again, but here's the exciting ending that you get if John Moxley walks out with the title. Sting's illegitimate child making his fucking return.
That's true.
So the reality of the situation is you can still have that exciting moment. Have Sting come out with him. Oh my God, that's Sting. Oh my God, that's Sting's illegitimate child.
Okay, that's fair.
Oh my God, look, the WWE guy won the title, and now Sting and his love child are coming out. Oh my God, I have to watch to see what happens on Wednesday when this little wrecking ball who just shot himself out of a cannon to take out this team called the Death Riders. I'm just saying. There's ways that this can go either way, that if you're trying to get the disgruntled WWE fan in there, you can do it. John Moxley walking out with the title and Darby Allin coming back and Tony Schiavone telling us that that's Sting's illegitimate love child. There's a lot of nostalgia there.
Yeah. So okay. So if that happens, if they add the element of Darby coming back, because if it's just Moxley and the Death Riders and everybody's booing and everybody's mad,
correct.
That's bad place.
If I wanted to eat shit Wheaties, I would stay at home and eat my shit Wheaties.
Right. I can be unhappy at home because again, like, you want me to be unhappy at home or do you want me unhappy at a party around people I don't recognize? I'll be
correct.
Unhappy at home. Let me I'll at least be on my couch or in my recliner with like my blanket and like I'm safe. I feel safe enough here, right? But yeah. If you make something, if something else happens that makes it feel okay, then yeah, I'm on board there. I'm on board.
So I literally just looked on PW Insider for the first time today. First guests announced for StarCast this July in Texas are Mina Shirakawa, Swerve Strickland, John Moxley, Bryan Danielson, Tony Storm. Oh, and guess who the last name is? Sting.
Oh.
You want to get the fans excited? Let me hear a final countdown. And him and Darby Allin be the ones that run off the Death Riders who are standing tall to end the show with all the boos coming in and everybody being pissed off. And then here comes Team fucking AEW to try to run off the fucking Death Riders. Here's Bryan. Here's fucking Darby. Here's Swerve. Here's the newly unified champion Kenny Omega. And then you're looking at it, and now the WWE, now the disgruntled WWE fans are sitting there going, so they got a Canadian that's dressed like Captain America. They got the old guy. They got the guy with no neck.
Mm-hmm.
And they got the illegitimate love child. This is a cosplay Avengers if I've ever seen it.
Yep.
Gonna have to watch Wednesday to see if the Avengers can take down Thanos, aka John Moxley.
Yep.
All I'm saying is, I said it when the Owen Hart Cup started. I will reiterate it here on this show for the 5,000th time. Whoever wins the cup has to beat Moxley for the title at All In. Whether it was Ospreay, whether it was Hangman, whether it was fucking whoever the fuck else it could have been. I didn't care who it was. Whoever won that tournament had to beat John Moxley at All In. It had to be the crowning moment. I'm doubling down on it. And if he walks out with that fucking title and Darby Allin makes his return, I'm out. I will be the disgruntled AEW fan that will sit in the desert and die telling you that the WWE is the greatest thing ever, rather than having to fucking sit here and watch Darby Allin win the AEW world title. Because fuck him, that's why.
Fuck him.
Sorry, Tim. I know he's your fucking new love child, and you put all your Sting energy into him. The kid's 13 pounds soaking wet with a brick in his pocket. If Powerhouse Hobbs cannot beat Jon Moxley, I cannot believe in my infinite wisdom that a guy who is 0-1 against panes of glasses can beat Jon Moxley. I just can't fucking do it.
By the way, I still have SummerSlam 2021 on, and I'm like, who's this chicken leg dork coming out with Rey Mysterio?
It was his daughter.
Oh yeah, it was his son, Dominic Mysterio. I was like, holy hell.
Mullet, pre-mullet, baby face, Dom Mysterio.
He had like one tattoo on his arm. And dude,
oh my god.
Dude, it is fucking unrecognizable. Do yourself a favor tonight and just Google Dominic Mysterio, SummerSlam 2021 from the Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, home of TKO. Holy crap.
Wow, that show just sounds awful.
Yeah, it wasn't great. The
RK Bro win the tag titles. Alexa Bliss.
That match looked okay.
Alexa Bliss versus Eva Marie with Doudrop.
Stinker. 3 minutes and 50 seconds.
Damian Priest versus Sheamus.
Yeah, that one actually looked like it slapped pretty good.
Oh look, it's the Mysterio dorks.
Yeah, the Mysterio dorks versus the Usos. Then of course you had the Becky Lynch 26-second win over Bianca. Drew versus Jinder Mahal.
Veer and Shanky banned from ringside.
Charlotte Flair defeated Nikki ASH. Etch defeated Seth Rollins.
Oh, Rhea Ripley was in that Nikki ASH match.
Yeah. She probably looks a million times different.
Mm-hmm.
Lashley defeated Oldberg.
God, to think he's gonna have one more match. That's fucking wild.
Okay, so real quick, because then we're gonna run Money in the Bank, and then obviously then Reigns defeated Cena, to at least close it positively. But I saw a thing earlier that like Goldberg has. Let me see if I can find the actual tweet here for a second, because I don't want to relay this information incorrectly. So this was a report from. It says Goldberg says he has injured himself a couple of times and is extremely limited due to his left knee, and as a result can't run without feeling pain whilst training for his retirement match. He says he's blown out his shoulder, blown out his bicep, and pulled a hamstring from throwing high kicks. Whatever plans you had, cancel them. Cancel them. I didn't want to see Oldberg at 100, whatever 100% was at this point. Literally a broken version of Oldberg. I'm fucking out. I don't give a shit what the plan was. Even if the plan was have Gunther chop him until his decrepit chest caved in, cancel it. Keep this man away from my fucking TV, please.
You want to know the best part? It's going to be the greatest birthday present for you of all time when it happens at Saturday night's main event.
It sure is. But jeez,
because it's 1,000% happening there. It's 1,000% happening in Atlanta.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's, you know what? To be really honest with you, John Cena versus Goldberg for the fucking WWE title.
God's sakes. Oh, God.
I mean, let him lose to Braun Breaker.
Oh, if Braun just fucking spears him and his body breaks in half.
Spear versus spear.
Like the fucking in Dewey Cox when he accidentally cuts his brother in half.
Yep.
Just, oh, God. Just gross. Okay. But anyway, yeah. So Oldberg is even more broken than he was in the Saudi show when he almost killed the Undertaker, and he's still going to wrestle a match in 2025.
Do you think it's Gunther or do you think it's somebody else? And then we
I
can
actually
pivot.
do think it'll probably be somebody else. I actually think the Braun Breaker, because you're in Georgia, it's WCW territory, Steinerville. Yeah, it's a Braun Breaker spot if I ever seen it. Spear versus Spear. Yeah.
And have fucking Rick and Scott in the crowd and have Scott hit him with a lead pipe. You don't even have to let him fucking lose clean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking blast him in the face.
Oh, I love it. Killed. Oh man, yeah. Just end it as quick as possible. All right.
Bill Goldberg.
Fucking Bill Goldberg. Say it to my face, Bill Goldberg. Fucking that's the best. All right, let's see. Money in the Bank this Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time from the Intuit Dome in Inglewood, California. 4 matches currently on the card. I guess theoretically there could be a 5th one added. We will see. As we talked about last week, WWE does typically run 5-match shows, so we'll see if anything gets added. But we will start with the last chance match for the WWE Women's Intercontinental title. Becky Lynch challenging the champion Lyra Valkyria. If Lynch loses, she can no longer challenge for the title as long as Valkyria is champ. If Valkyria loses, she'll be forced to raise Becky Lynch's hand and acknowledge her as the better woman. This is a Tony Khan Booger Sugar special if I ever heard it.
Who are you telling? There's no way in hell that Becky Lynch is losing both of the title matches. You're putting that title on her because she's going to carry it into SummerSlam where she's actually going to defend it in a major feud against someone. Looking at you, Rhea Ripley. More on that later. Give me Becky Lynch to win the title.
I picked her up in fantasy this week because I want this feud to end as quickly as possible. Give me Bird Lady for the win. Lyra retains. Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso in a tag team match versus John Cena and Logan Paul.
If this doesn't have the greatest post-match press conference of all time with plenty of vibrations and
Yeet.
Do you feel him, sir?
Do you feel him, sir? You feel me? Do you feel him, sir?
If that isn't coming out of this, I'm out. Logan Paul is specifically in this match to eat the fall. I think that's very fucking apparent here. Give me the Yeet Carrion Nightmares.
I like that. Yeah, Cody and Jay are at 1,000% winning this one. Money in the Bank for the women's briefcase. Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley, Gulia, Naomi, and Stephanie Vaquer.
There's a couple of different ways that this could go, and I think that they're correct with all of them. I will start with I don't think Julia should walk out with the briefcase. I think she is someone that could go right into a mid-card title feud with whoever has the title there. That would be perfect for her. I don't think Alexa Bliss should win the title because I believe she and a potential member of the Wyatt Six could be coming linked together again to possibly win the women's tag titles. So I'm out on that. That leaves me with Naomi. That leaves me with Stephanie Vaquer. That leaves me with
Roxanne and Rhea Ripley.
I'm not going to put the briefcase on Rhea Ripley. I've seen it cycle through that Rhea wins it and then calls her shot and says that's when she's going to fight for the women's title in Perth, so that she could have the home title match. You don't need the briefcase to do that. She could just win a fucking random qualifying match and still do the same goddamn thing. That leaves me with the 3. Stephanie Vaquer would be really cool to win it. She's going to be involved in Worlds Collide. She's going to be on both shows. She's going to be blasted on your television. I think it would be cool for her to win it. I'm not going that route. It leaves me with 2. two very different storylines coming out of this match if either one of them wins the title or wins the contract. Naomi could use it, could cash in, could lead to the Jade Cargill feud, could lead to the Bianca Belair feud, could lead to us finding out that Bianca was actually behind the Jade Cargill assault, and then Bianca Belair goes heel and realigns herself with Naomi, and then Roxanne Perez, she's kind of part of the Judgment Day, but she's not really part of the Judgment Day. She has the briefcase. She can flaunt it in Liv's face. She can use Dominic Mysterio against Liv, and we can have the interminglings and the eventual destroying of the Judgment Day. Which of them I think is actually going to happen? Fuck if I know. I'm taking Naomi because I do think that inevitably the final decision is going to be get the title off of Tiffany Stratton. Like that's the title that Naomi wins. Jade Cargill tries to beat her for the title. That's when Bianca Belair gets involved. That's when Bianca turns full heel, maybe after a Jade Cargill title win or something like that, setting up Bianca and Jade potentially Royal Rumble, et cetera, for the title.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I do think ultimately the title that'll be cashed in on is once again that SmackDown title, with currently with Tiffany Stratton.
If it's Rhea, I think she would cash in on Io. I think that's how we'd get the Io Rhea match.
But be Rhea. I'll say that right now. Honestly, for me, Alexa Bliss to a lesser extent, but I am good with anyone but Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley doesn't need it. She's been around that picture for ever at this point. And here's the deal. We know for a fact that if she walked into Pierce's office on Monday Night Raw and says, I deserve a title shot tonight, and he goes, book it.
Mm-hmm.
It's believable. Like if Stephanie Vaquer does it, excuse me, he's like, why? Can you explain to me, like, besides your like tag team win last week, like why should I give you, because you were an NXT champion? Like that doesn't necessarily mean no, I'm not gonna do that. And I get Alexa Bliss probably could too, but she's been so far removed from being a champion that like I think there's even still an extent to be like, yeah, that works. I like your idea about the women's tag title thing though. So yeah, anybody but Rhea Ripley, and ultimately I'm good with it. I will pick Roxanne.
Roxanne
To be different.
Roxanne.
But like also, they kind of teased a Rhea Stephanie Vaquer match. So like, not that I think Stephanie needs to like win the briefcase, but she could and cash in 6 months from now, and then Rhea's like, hey, remember when I welcomed you? Yeah, I actually just like wanted to let you know I wanted to beat you up, and now I want to win. So like that could be a thing as well. So yeah, officially I'm picking Roxanne. And last one, Money in the Bank for the men's contract, Solo Sikoa, LA Knights.
Yeah.
Penta, Seth Rollins, Andrade, and El Grande Americano.
I know who I'd put the title on, or the briefcase on, but they're not going to. I would put the briefcase on El Grande Americano.
I mean, it would be gold. It would
Because
be gold.
Because then you got Chad Gable. Now Chad Gable is upset that his compadre, his amigo, El Grande Americano is the Money in the Bank holder and not him.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'd be more upset about that.
Mm-hmm.
I know I would be. But that being said, I don't know that there's a way that I can tell you that it's not going to end up being Seth Rollins.
Seems pretty obvious, huh?
It feels blatantly obvious. And it feels blatantly obvious because of what happens the next night on Monday Night Raw. Jey Uso versus Big Gunther.
Yeah.
What happens after that? You could possibly see a cash in from Seth Rollins, and then now that group has become even more dangerous because now they have the world title. I can tell you that having the men's briefcase be cashed in rapidly 2 years in a row, not something that I want to happen. But if there's a division right now that doesn't need the briefcase, I think it is the men's division.
That's fair.
Because you got so many main eventers, you got so many upper mid card guys that it almost feels like the briefcase is kind of could hold back part of the division. Like, I love Penta to death. He's probably going to go through a ladder at some point in this match. Not a briefcase holder right now. I like El Grande Americano. I think there's bigger fish to fry there. I'm out on Solo Sikoa. I've said that from the very beginning. Hard pass. Thanks for coming. LA Knight, upper mid card, just had a long U.S. title run. I think he cools off before he goes even hotter. Because he's been up in that main event. Remember, he wrestled Roman Reigns. He had one of the greatest parts of the whole bloodline when Roman's standing there trying to be acknowledged and his music hits and he blows right by him to go sign the contract for that match. But you just built this super faction. I don't think that there's a way that Seth Rollins doesn't walk out of here with the title or with the briefcase. I don't think there's a way that he potentially doesn't win the title within the next 60 days. I did see something cool that said if he wins it, maybe he doesn't cash in on Jey Uso, maybe he cashes in on John Cena to make sure that the title stays.
Okay.
Because he's frustrated about other people and wrestling and things like that. So maybe this is Seth keeping the title in the company.
But that's tough then because that title's on SmackDown. So that's
I'm really glad there's a 2-night SummerSlam in the state of New York in not less than a month.
well, I just mean it's like if Braun and Heyman, I mean Heyman can go anywhere, or Braun and Bronson
Mhm.
are on Raw. If Seth wins the SmackDown title, what does that do to the faction? Unless there's a trade in the draft or whatever.
Because we actually care about the brand splits.
Well, that's fair.
I mean, we've said that joke on this show for the last 3.5 years.
Before Rick Boogs' leg exploded.
Oh God!
Hi, Rick Boogs.
So I could see because maybe that's when the Cena retirement tour starts becoming the pulling his head out of the clouds.
Yeah.
And then we get the last 2 months, 3 months of the Cena retirement tour being the
Thank you.
I fucked up.
Like
I am gonna miss you guys. I love you guys. Like,
yeah.
Kind of shit like that. Or we could just throw an entire curveball in this thing and John Cena could just take the briefcase down and walk out with it and nobody wins the fucking briefcase. And he's like, fuck you guys, I'm out.
Why you gotta steal my thunder, man?
Seth Rollins wins.
Yeah, I mean the most likely scenario here is Seth Rollins wins. It really does feel like, and I said this on 3CT. I will know how this show ends if the men's Money in the Bank ladder match opens the show.
If that's
If
the
the
case,
men's
then whoever wins the briefcase cashes in after the tag match.
if the men's Money in the Bank ladder match opens the show,
Mhm.
I believe that Cody and Jay versus Cena and Logan Paul will be your main event.
Mm-hmm.
And Seth Rollins will cash in on Jey Uso and will close the night as the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
Leading to some kind of triple threat the next night on Raw.
I think that, and I'll give Tim the credit on this one, but I agree with it, that Monday on Raw becomes a number one contenders match. Jey Uso and Gunther. The winner will face Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. Because the Saudi show is Night of Champions, so it's going to be champion versus champion. So you'll get Rollins versus Cena. You'll get Tiffy versus EO. You'll get, So, but my official prediction is that we get the thing that I kind of had teased about when we first were talking about ideas for the Cena heel turn, and it's that he will Brock Lesnar himself into this match where he'll just come out because there's no rule that says you can't, and Cena will just go up and he will take the briefcase and he will be your Money in the Bank winner. Because if your goal is to ruin wrestling, why not take away the one thing that fans love, that object of surprise that you can just cash in a he's the champion. Why wouldn't he want to have the fucking briefcase? Like, it's perfect. So my official pick is John Cena wins the Money in the Bank ladder match. It'll also be interesting
You get
if say like that tag match somehow opens the show. That Cena that Cena decision becomes a lot more in play. Like I almost want that match to open the show.
if the tag match goes on first or second, there's a shot we get that
Yeah.
Cena finish.
Yeah, because women's Money in the Bank could open,
And then you could do the tag match. Then you could do the
women's Intercontinental.
and then
I
you
feel
could
like they're
go
going to add like a tag match in here or something. This being a 4-match card feels way too small. And I get like Money in the Bank matches can go 25, 30. The tag match is probably going to be a little bit long, but like a 4-match Big 5 pay-per-view feels small. I feel like something's going to be added.
you guys have sold me on this being a Big 5 pay-per-view for the last year and a half. There ain't been a Big 5 pay-per-view that's been 4 matches ever. I don't know if it's Zelina Vega and people versus Chelsea Green or something like that. I don't feel like that's going to happen because you already got 2 women's match on the show of a 4-match card. Maybe it's something with the tag title division. Maybe it's the Street Profits against someone. I don't know. Maybe the White Six have a 8-man tag match or something. Maybe it's the Guns and the Street Profits versus the Wyatt Six in an 8-man tag match or something. I don't know. I look at it from this standpoint. I think I'll throw up if Seth Rollins wins the briefcase and cashes in that night because it is Drew McIntyre 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. They did it with the women's a couple times. You know, the Liv Morgan cash in right away, the Alexa Bliss cash in right away, the Nikki ASH the next night. I understand we don't need long briefcases in the men's division. I just abdicated for that. But I think that there has to be, like, if Seth does cash in that night, I think Seth has to play it one of 2 ways. He almost has to feel conflicted about which title he cashes in on. And I'm going to say this, and this might be me being very just on my brand where I like to say the most outrageous shit I can think of sometimes on this show. Him cashing in on Cena makes a ton of sense for one other reason that none of us have thought about. What title did Roman Reigns hold for the 1,800 and 9,000 days?
It's a good point to take Roman's baby back.
I am the greatest member of the Shield. I am the architect. I am the peace. I am the greatest. I'm going to take this title that was his, and I'm going to break his record to prove my point. Leading to Roman coming back, and that being your SummerSlam main event for the World Heavyweight, for the WWE Undisputed Championship, Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins, which inevitably is going to take me to San Diego and is going to set up War Games. Team Seth versus Team Roman.
I like it.
Wrestlers of the week.
I'll start off new WWC Universal Heavyweight Champion Carlito.
I'm going to take Trick Williams. He retained.
Nice. Give me making her NXT debut.
Oh, God, thank you.
The Glamour Jenny June. No, we'll call her Mariah May for now. Name still pending, I suppose.
All right. I'm going to go to AEW Dynamite in the Fighter Fest. Kenny Omega for retaining the international title in a fatal 4-way and setting up a unification match to get rid of a fucking title from fucking AEW.
Love that, by the way. And then I guess one more, right? Because we
Yes.
do 3 with Joe being out. I will go with your new WWE Evolve champion, Jackson Drake.
Mm.
Man, sometimes I forget how Roll Tide Carmella was. My goodness.
FABULOUS. Yes. I'm gonna take Nick Wayne. He retained the Ring of Honor World TV title on hour number 3 of the 4-hour Fighter Fest Collision experience.
Oh, dude.
Okay, so here's the thing. I get it from
I do too.
because they're the NBA finals and all
They're
that stuff,
preempting, yeah.
and then the hockey and all that. So they're just trying to get their content out. Film it like you do and release it on demand.
Yeah. And here's the thing, for the people that want to see it at 10 to midnight, they're gonna stay up and watch it. Otherwise, I can watch it on Max. I have Max. Everybody has Max. They give away Max subscriptions like it's going out of style.
The one to watch.
It's the one to watch. I watched the first 2 hours whilst also watching hockey. Full disclosure, I went to an amusement park, Knoebels Amusement Park in Ellisburg, Pennsylvania yesterday. So it was leave the house at 8 in the morning, drive about an hour and a half, hour 40 to the amusement park, spend all day walking around in the hot and whatever, gorging out on food, drive home, take a shower. I'm almost 40. I'm fat. I was tired. I tapped out after about 2.5. I did my part. So yeah, just in next week's 4 hours as well. I will not watch all 4 hours next week either. I'll tell you that right now. I'll go 2 hours and I'll probably tap out shortly after that.
I was looking at the card for that. Kind of interesting. Where'd it go? Oh, it's right here. Let me read. So they have announced some stuff for that show. We have Megan Bain and Penelope Ford versus TJ since Tay Mello returned. We got Tony Storm versus Gulia Hart. Tekla versus Queen Aminata. Anthony Bowens versus Kyle Fletcher. Mystico versus someone. Swerve Strickland versus Will Ospreay. That should be a banger. And Jet Speed of Kevin Knight and Speed Bam Mike Bailey with Commander versus the Hurt Syndicate. And then they have nothing announced for Collision. But before we wrap this up, power through this one real quick. TNA Against All Odds has their show tomorrow. I'm going to read off the matches, just rapid fire answers. Mustafa Ali versus Jason Hotch.
Ali.
Same. 8-man tag. Leon Slater, the Hardys, and a question to be determined partner versus the System of Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, JDC, and Moose.
The team with the Hardys. I don't know who the fourth man will be, but
I don't either. Supposedly they want to bring back some old heads into the fold and debut some new people. So I'm going to guess it's somebody that checks one of those two boxes. Singles match, which I believe is for control of the booking of TNA on air. Robert Stone with Tessa Blanchard in his corner versus Santino Marella with Ariana Grace in his corner.
Santino.
I agree. TNA International title match, Steve Macklin, the champion, versus Mance Warner with SDL in his corner.
Say that one again.
Steve Macklin versus Mance Warner.
Macklin.
I agree. The Nemeths defend the tag titles against the Rascals of Trey Miguel and Zach Wentz.
Rascals.
Nemeths. Knockouts title, Masha Slamovich versus Li Ying Lee.
Masha.
I agree. Singles match, Frankie Kazarian versus Joe Hendry.
I'll go Kazarian. Yeah, Kazarian.
I'll go Hendry because I do think he gets one more title match before he's inevitably done with TNA. And for the TNA World title, it is the champion Trick Willie taking on Elijah.
Trick.
I hope that Elijah wins because I want to see.
Cool, but I don't.
I want to see who will walk with Elijah.
It would be cool. There's secretly a part of me that wants it, but I don't think
I'm the same way. I think Trick does win, but I kind of hope that
I'd be all for a Walk with Elijah world champion run.
So would I. You can listen to the Joe Movie Podcast, Joe Movie Podcast, all one word. If you want to Google his Twitter handle, I don't know what it is. Tread lightly though. Jim?
Yeah. You can just hit the link tree in my Twitter or Blue Sky. It's at Big Jim Sports. I just retooled him this week, so it has all of my projects: 3CT, Huddle Up, Discussions with a Nobody, and this one. So, yeah, just do that.
Send all your hate tweets to @take3wrestling for my. They actually got it right with the R-Truth release because I want to hear your feedback to that. You can follow me at They Call Me Burn. You can follow the show at Take 3 Wrestling. We will be back next week with the fallout from Money in the Bank. What's next for WWE as we lead into the Summerfest. And we'll see if you guys are y'all in right here on the Take 3 Wrestling podcast.